Get in there!
Come on!
It's the post-match pint after Rangers 1, Celtic 2. We're here at Malone's Bar, live, on the roof. What an atmosphere it is down the stair, Kevin, isn't it? Brilliant.
It is absolutely bouncing down there, and no wonder. It is fantastic.
Aye, tremendous. What a result today. We'll get straight into it. A chaotic start to the game. You know that we talked about this in the build-up. Going away from home to Ibrox, you know the atmosphere's there, and if they get a good start, it's going to be difficult for you. And after that first 5-minute period, I was concerned.
You weren't the only one. I think everybody down in the bar was. I mean, Juranovic loses his marker, loses Ryan Kent. It's a great ball in from Kent, and then Ramsey just has to tap it in, basically. But it was a bad start, but we regrouped from there, definitely.
Aye, what a response. As I say, that first 5 minutes, we just really struggled, didn't we? The early goal just gets the crowd up for them, and then they looked like the team on the front foot. I think Taylor, Jota and Tatati all gave it away under no pressure in that first 5-minute period, and we just had to get a foot on the ball, calm down. But a couple of minutes later, we've equalised, and Callum McGregor's goal and that equaliser, brilliant. Such a brave run he goes on. Is it Balogun he gets inside, or Bassey? Stays on his feet, gets the cross in. Hatati's shot's blocked, and Rogic keeps calm. Difficult finish, much harder than it looked. And to equalise that quickly was vital for us today.
Yeah, because it killed any momentum that they had. But I think you've really got to credit Callum McGregor. The determination in that run to go past Calvin Bassey, who has a big lump of a boy, and to get past him and show the determination to get past him, get the ball in. Rogic has a shot at it. Comes to Hatati, who's actually unlucky. And then the composure from Tom Rogic, though, and that cauldron of an atmosphere to just dink it almost over Alan McGregor is just it's the perfect response in a derby like this, and it really did kill any momentum they had, because they started the game like we started it in February. So thank God we got that, because at that point we were still very poor, it has to be said. Hatati, and the game passed him by, and he was very, very lackadaisical at times, and the passing was poor, but that seemed to galvanise us ever so slightly. We didn't fully come into it till late into the half, and my God, we did.
Aye, absolutely. Just need to touch on another thing for the start of the game, Kevin. It's the tragic Rangers Old Firms everywhere. Old Firm on the side of the pitch. They even managed to put the letters Old Firm across the banner as the players walk out. I mean, absolutely tragic for them. But what can you expect? Anyway, what a response it was. The goal really settled us. And as you say, maybe 10-15 minute mark, we started to take control. And I thought, to be fair, the rest of the first half, we were the better team and we created the better chances.
I would agree with you there. When Jota put two superb crosses in, and then that one with Jackie Marcus with the header was unlucky, but I thought he was great for us today. I wouldn't say we were absolutely brilliant in the first half, but as you say, we grew into it, and it was so much better. And then we did get on top, and then the most unlikeliest of goal scorers, it has to be said. The guy beside me had 2-1 and Carter Vickers to score at any time at 9-1.
No way.
He did.
What a shout.
And he nearly enough choked me. And I'm happy he did, because he's got a cracking weekend ahead of him. But you've got to also compliment Carter Vickers on the composure. It's a great finish.
Great finish. Weaker foot.
For a defender on his weaker foot,
yep.
In that atmosphere, absolutely fantastic. And it certainly was not the way I was expecting it to go, because it was pandemonium down there, and the perfect time to score just before half time, puts us on the front foot, and it annoys the Rangers, the supporters, everybody connected. And to go in at half time, I thought that's a great response, and that is something that we haven't seen in a long, long time from Celtic. To come from behind and to be leading at half time in the same half against Rangers, I think just shows testament to how far Ange has brought this team, and you can just hear it downstairs how far and how everybody's just galvanised by this man.
Aye, absolutely. We'll go on to him later. that second goal came at a vital time for us, as you say, just before half time. I think we deservedly went ahead though, because as I say, we were in the ascendancy for the majority of that first half. Once we weathered the early storm, get back level, we had the better chances. And 50,000 Rangers fans in there, 700 Celtic fans.
Yep.
There was a Doug down the stair.
Yeah, it was.
And I think even the Doug was like that after that second goal, because there wasn't a peep out of them after that, was there, for the rest of the game. Brilliant. We go in at half time, 2-1. Come back out the second half, and I thought there was periods in the second half where we were very deep. But Carter Vickers and Starfelt were both absolutely outstanding.
I think you also need to credit Greg Taylor with an absolutely vital tackle against Ryan Kent just at the edge of the box. Even to a certain extent, like the midfield before him, like McGregor and even Beaton when he came on. But as you say, Starfelt and Carter Vickers, as much as balls were coming in, they weren't under a lot of pressure. They just all they had to do was clear it, and it's just what you're asking for your defenders to do. But obviously, Ange ball is very much attacking, and it's very defensive like. But games like that, you have to grind them out. And it was, as we were speaking to someone down the stairs, it's all about the heart and the determination that they gave, and we got there in the end. And that's what you need to do. And we're now sitting 6 points clear with 7 games to play. It's in our hands, but we've got to stress this is just one game at a time. Just go to next week to St Johnstone, do the same. Don't get too carried away. It's okay for us to get carried away. We're supporters. We're meant to it that way. But we've got to just take it a game at a time, and that's what must be stressed to the team.
We talked about the lineup before the game, and I thought O'Reilly might start in midfield. There's a few areas of the pitch where I think the manager had big decisions to make. That's why the manager gets paid the big bucks, because he got them right. And Tom Rogic started today, and he was absolutely tremendous. I thought he did tire because he had that injury in the Ross County game, and we know that Rogic, albeit this season maybe an exception, his stamina over the course of really high intense games hasn't always been a strong point for him. But I thought in that first half he was the best player on the pitch, and there was a lot of talk about the big money loan signing on the pitch today, and he got the opening goal. But Tom Rogic was head and shoulders the best player in the park.
Absolutely, and it just shows you how integral he is to this team. As much as he did tire, I still think it was just maybe a bit too early to bring him off, because I just still think he was annoying the midfield, because he was taking the piss out of them almost. You know what I mean? He was always getting that second touch, that anticipation, and getting the better of the midfield, which was a steely midfield, it has to be said, with Jack, Lundstrom, and Ramsey. But he was absolutely fantastic. But there's a few that we could say for man of the match, but he was one of the best players
big
in the
time.
park.
By the way,
Joe Hart.
We'll get to Joe Hart, mate. By the way, we've got a man of the match poll running. This is a live format. The man of the match poll is running. You can vote for your man of the match. We have to narrow it down to 4 nominees. We could have put 11 if we were allowed to. Joe Hart actually isn't on the list. It's Carter Vickers, Rogic, Starfelt, and Maeda. Get your votes in. We'll discuss man of the match at the end of the game. We'll come to Joe Hart, but Tom Rogic just kept finding those pockets centrally, and I think that's something that's really stood out for most of the season. But I was reading beforehand that the difference in how Rangers are defending structurally with Van Bronckhorst as opposed to Gerrard is that the space is in those inside central pockets, and Rogic took advantage of that in the first half. Struggling for words here.
And he's sober. No, it was a really good performance, and I think the subs were made at the right time as well. And Beaton, when he came on, was just an absolute rock in the middle of that.
We needed subs, because you mentioned it with Hatate really tired. You could see there's one where he was chasing down
Ryan
Kent on the right hand side, and it looked like he was running quicksand, man. And then Taylor berates him. He was just tired. He had to come off. But I thought the subs did help us. And it was a pity that O'Reilly came on and had to go off 10 minutes later. But
bit of a poor tackle, but
that strength on the bench really helped us today.
Yeah, and that is something that we didn't have the last time we played Rangers at the very start, because we brought on players that we didn't want to be here, and we had players on the pitch that didn't want to be here. But everybody has bought into, the style that Ange wants to implement. And as much as Maeda, was running up and down and didn't really contribute much to the game, he did just do the things that you don't see. He was harassing the back four: McGregor, Bassey, Balogun, Goldson. They were annoyed by him, and that's what you want. And Giakoumakis as well.
Ran himself into the ground.
I know he's not on the man of the match, but
ran himself into the ground.
An absolute perfect performance from a forward that is great at holding up play, but also has that ability to be the 6-yard striker.
Aye, he absolutely ran himself into the ground. Giakoumakis left everything out there. We will try and pick out some comments if we get a chance. Boy67 saying, think Greg Taylor deserves a lot of credit. He was outstanding today, and he has Celtic quality. Greg Taylor's coming for a lot of stick this season. Probably the majority of Celtic career.
Yeah.
But I did think today was really good. He obviously had to come off of that injury. Juranovic went to left back, Ralston went to right back. But I did think Taylor was really good today.
Yeah, he started a bit ropey, but he grew into the game a lot, like a lot of the team did. Like a lot of the team did, and some of the back passing at the back, and I know they're trying to implement a hinge ball, but my God, in a game like this, you just have to get it forward. And we were lucky not to be caught out a couple of times, but as I've said, we grew into it, and like with Greg Taylor, yeah, he's came in for a lot of criticism, but today he did do well, and like, I think, that this was a big game for a lot of Celtic players to see how they would react, because this is a team that are now comfortable with everybody on the pitch, and to go into that game with not many Celtic fans backing, only 700 out of the 49,000 that were there for supporting the other team. I mean, it's an incredible result, and it's absolutely vital that we got it today. I mean, I was saying at the start, I'd be happy with a draw, but once we went 2-1 up, I was like, no, we need to try and defend this. And every one of the defence defended for their lives. They put everything for that jersey today, and that is all you can ask as Celtic supporters. That's all you can ask.
Absolutely. Just want to shout out Super Chat. We are top of the league, looking down on the Rangers. The explanation is Ange Postecoglou as well. I thought in the second half, as I say, we were really, really deep at times. There was a period of about 70 minutes where I thought we need to try and get up the pitch here. We need to try and find a way to get a foot on the ball, gain a bit of territory again, because for all Rangers weren't cutting us open, were creating masses of clear-cut chances. They had this pin back, but I have to say, to a man, the defence was exceptional, absolutely exceptional. I talked about Starfelt and Carter Vickers very briefly beforehand, but Carter Vickers got the sponsor man of the match. Absolutely outstanding. We talked about his goal, but I think just the ability to clear cross balls, which Rangers are dangerous from, wide delivery for Bassey, for Tavernier. We dealt with every single crossed ball, and that second half came down to like the mental attributes, the strength, the mental strength, the heart to dig in, to defend when we had to, and I thought they were all absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team, as we're going to say, was brilliant, but as I say, it's such a relief to see a team fighting for the jersey, because last season it was non-existent, and to have that at our biggest rivals' own backyard, I mean, it's fantastic to see, because all we can ask is that the Celtic players that are out there give 100%. That's all we ask, and you actually could not fault anybody. And I was down there, I was applauding everyone, I was shouting, I was kicking every ball, but I mean, at times you felt like this team can actually deal with pressure now. Start of the season it was a bit ropey, set pieces were a wee bit still, well, here we go, but we grew into it, and as much as Rangers did flood the box, you knew you had people like Starfelt and Carter Vickers who were just clearing every ball, and my God, they done it today. And I know that I've been slagged off, shall we say, for saying that Starfelt was a man of the match, but I'd like to see everybody's reaction today, because he was absolutely fantastic. So, what goes around comes around with some people.
He was brilliant. He was really, really good, Starfelt. Carter Vickers is running away with the man of the match poll, by the way. 70% of you think that Carter Vickers was man of the match. I talked about the chances Rangers created in the second half. Joe Hart didn't have many saves to make, a couple of long rangers to catch, but he makes the telling save in the game from Sakala, cutting inside. It goes through Starfelt's legs, and how many times do you see a player cutting in, hitting a shot through legs, and it ends up in the net? Because Joe Hart's going to his right hand side, and he still gets right down onto the floor. A strong left hand. What a save!
That's a league defining save. It's a match winning save. It's a league defining save as well. And I know obviously there's a lot of games to go, but that could be so vital. But as you say, he's having to get down quickly with his reflexes to get such a strong hand in that, to get it away from so much pressure, because you had Roof and you had Kent right beside that ball. An absolutely fantastic save, and that is why we brought him in. And he again is just bought into the whole ethos of what we are. And I know it's terrible to say, but you would never have got that kind of save with Barkas or Bain last year. We were absolutely destroyed in games like this, but saves like that win you championships. As much as we've had to score a couple of goals to get the match day, saves like that win you championships. Alex Ferguson always said that Peter Schmeichel got him 9 points a season. Joe Hart helped us out immensely today, along with Carter Vickers and Starfield.
Joe Hart has been. We've not made a more important signing this season than Joe Hart.
No.
For £1 million, we've made some good signings.
For £1 million, it's a steal.
We've made some good signings, but no better than Joe Hart. He was absolutely brilliant today. As I say, not called on too much, but that save is so important at a vital time in the game. I want to come back to something you mentioned earlier about the confidence of going to Ibrox today. I had a feeling this week. I had a feeling that we were going to win the game. And I can never voice that feeling in the build-up to one of these games. I can never come out and say, by the way, I think we're going to win this at the weekend, because the nerves just get to you. You don't want to jinx anything. It's ridiculous because that doesn't even mean anything. But I can only think of a feeling where I felt really confident we were going to win at Ibrox on the Samaras Sunday, right? And it was different. It was different because that day we had a lot of players out.
Yeah.
And Samaras led the line. Koki Mizuno started. We were injury ravished, right? But just in the build-up to the game, I had this feeling that we were going to come out with 3 points. I had that this week in the build-up to this game. And that is because, and I can't believe the turnaround this season. Think about where we were at the last time we went to Ibrox. To be here, 3 points clear going into this game. A fully fit squad eventually. But the job the manager's done for everyone, just about everyone coming into this game, if they fancied anything other than their job, they fancied Celtic to win it. And the confidence that Ange has instilled in the team, the belief, because they've come from behind today at Ibrox to win, that doesn't happen often in these games.
No.
The belief that the team has in his message, but the confidence that he's even given the supporters. Yeah. And even the neutrals can see it. Neutrals can see that they fancied us today.
Yeah.
And that turnaround is unbelievable.
It's fantastic. It really is. And it will be an absolute crime if Postecoglou does not get Manager of the Year throughout the whole of, I think it's PFA, whatever one they do. It will be an absolute crime if he doesn't get it, because people need to look at the job that he inherited. It was a shambles of a squad. We were a shambles of a club. To have that such quick a turnaround and still be on the cusp of a treble. And I know, like, obviously we've got a lot of games to play, and I'm not saying anything. Don't shoot me down, but to still be the cusp of a treble on the season that you first came in to try and implement your vision of Ange Ball going forward. We're only at the start with Ange, and I think the future's only bright. And to go and try and still play the way that you want to play and get that result today was absolutely vital. And you talk about the neutrals. Everybody buys into the vision because it's exciting to watch. It's not boring. It's not pedestrian. It's a fantastic style of football to watch. But I think you've got to credit him, because he had to do it with his own, without any staff. But we've obviously know that he doesn't like to bring staff. So I mean, and not a lot of people liked Stephen McManus or Gavin Strachan or John Kennedy, or even Stevie Woods for that matter, considering some of the goalkeeping howlers from last season.
The bullets get everybody when it's going bad, but everybody gets it.
But it just shows you the turnaround from when we played them this time last season in the Cup, utterly disbanded, to actually we were controlling that game at points, because it didn't matter how many times you hit us, we were hitting them back. And it's honestly,
and you have the confidence in this team to defend. You have the confidence in them to defend. And they haven't been given enough credit for the defensive work all season. They haven't got it. Maybe they'll start getting it now. But so often this season, even at the turn of the year, I remember outside the stadium after the game at Hibs, the game against Hibs, we won 2-0. I thought Starfelt was brilliant that night, and still in the days that followed, there was talk on Sportsound and other mainstream outlets about how poor Starfelt is and how much of a weakness he is in this Celtic team. It's high time they get the credit they deserve, because they've been absolutely brilliant. But just on Ange, could not speak highly enough of that man. I can't believe the turnaround. I can't believe that we're in this position. Still 7 league games to be played, still a Scottish Cup semi-final to come. But if you can't see the progress, I mean, it's unbelievable. It is absolutely remarkable.
You must be sitting under a rock if you haven't seen the progress.
It's
just quickly, and apologies for butting in there, but I just want to say, we have the best defensive record in the league apart.
I'd be a mile.
By a mile. But yet you have mainstream media still want to call us out on it. That's on it saying that, because surely that speaks volumes in itself.
We had chances. We had chances at the end. I thought it could have been 3-1. Abada, as soon as he's on the pitch, he has a great chance. I think it's Giacomakis that plays the ball in to the right channel. And I think it's his first touch of the ball, to be fair to him, coming on in that game. His first touch, it gets away from him, takes it wide, and then he kind of sclaffs the shot in the end, and it doesn't trouble McGregor at all. And then he has the big chance where we work it well down the right hand side. Ralston puts the ball in. It ricochets, falls to Abada. McGregor's committed. Tavernier's there on the line. And he hits it first time, left foot. I thought he had time. He could just have killed it with his left foot, passed it in with his right. He smashes it first time. It was an unbelievable save for McGregor, to be fair to him. Other than that, though, he just picked the ball out of his net twice a day. I hope he doesn't go too mental the night. We had chances to kill that game to make it 3-1, but we didn't need them.
We didn't need them, but my God, it would have helped. It would have helped me down there.
It would have helped everybody's lifespan, I think.
I'm not wearing my Apple Watch just now, but I think my BPM must be through the roof. And I've got heart problems in my family. But honestly, like, it's when it was like 70 minutes, you're just thinking like 20 minutes to hold out. But my God, that 20 minutes felt like an absolute eternity. And I know people speak about it's only a game, but this is much more than a game. This was like you just see it down there, but you just see how much it means to so many people up here, and you came right down. And it's just like everybody's had a terrible couple of years, COVID, and with Celtic being poor, and that today is just like
cathartic, mate.
It's just a turning point. It's just everybody's just so up for it, and honestly, I mean, we could be here all day, and we might be here all day.
I'll be here all day, aye.
We're here all day. Well, the missus won't be happy, but you know, but I really do believe that we're under something special here with Ange. I mean, you speak to any Celtic fan, they cannot speak highly enough of him, and this is such an important victory in terms of the title, and who knows where it could lead to, you know.
As you say, 6 points clear, 15 goals better off now. A really, really strong position with 7 games to go. St Johnstone at home next week, then the split, and it's still all to play for in terms of who's going to complete the top 6. You only really know that Hearts are going to finish third, and then the other 3 positions are up for grabs. But we're in a great position, and again, coming back to the job the manager's done, the level of performance you expect from the team, the intensity you expect from the team, we've just got to bring that into these last 7 games. And we will be there.
As I said right at the start, take it one game at a time. This is a great victory, but you need to build on it. You can't just rest in your laurels. And as Ange says, we never stop. Go to the next game. Beat St Johnstone, bit galvanised, got 2 victories. Keep going. And all we need to do is just win. That's all we need to do. And we've still got Rangers at Parkhead, and we've got a semi-final coming up. We're in one of the best positions in years to secure a title, but not getting too ahead of ourselves. Take it one game at a time, and I'll repeat that till the cows come home. One game at a time.
Another big thing before the game we haven't talked about, as well as Kyogo was going to be included today, wasn't even in the match day squad, and we've come out with 3 points. So this squad that secured that victory today is going to get stronger with the introduction of Kyogo in the next week or 2.
I honestly think that was just to throw Rangers off the scent almost, just to say,
it's a good position to be in. Leave your best player at.
You know, but it would have been tough to throw out Giakoumakis because he's done absolutely brilliant. He's got 2 hat-tricks against Dundee and Ross County. You know, it would have been very tough, and by God, he stepped up to the plate today. I mean, didn't get a goal, but he done what was asked him. He held up the play. He won fouls. You know, he done everything you asked. I mean, with that type of striker, that's all you can ask in that game, because you're not going to have a lot of possession. The end of possession stats were 61-39 in Rangers' favour. All you can ask is just that you grind out the result. Kyogo is a big miss, but when he comes back, it's going to be a selection headache for Ange, because it's very, very tough to throw out Giakoumakis. So the way I see it is it's a great selection headache for the manager to have in the final few games of the season. You might even see him against St Johnstone, because he's still got a full week to recover. We're not getting any cup games or anything, so it could be interesting. But I honestly think that was just to throw Rangers off the scent, and just to say, oh, we might be starting, but then you just absolutely kill it. And I think Ange's got a bit previous for that.
Yeah,
he tries to say, oh, this player's fit, and because it came out the blue on, you know, during the week, and then, but it would have been very tough to throw Giakoumakis out.
Aye, absolutely. I feel bad, like, not going through every individual performance today, because we haven't talked about Jota yet.
No.
Who I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was really, really good. Again, on the right-hand side, talked before the game. Is he weaker on the right-hand side? Does that take someone who's been a real standout player for us? Does it take him out of his best position and therefore make the team a bit weaker? But I thought on the right-hand side, and I know him and Maida switched a bit today again, but I thought he was really, really good, Jota.
Yeah. Well, they were obviously switching at times in the game, but I think Jota has that ability to still, create something out of nothing, even on his weaker side. I think he loves to cut in from the left, but he was cutting in from the right at times, and and again, some cracking
Great
crosses.
crosses, man.
I mean, pinpoint. I mean, if it just for a bit of luck on our side, it could have been a couple more goals. But honestly, I think it's going to be a real, it's going to be a real headache for the Celtic board, because you have Jota, who could be really, really important going forward. But I mean, to not think that you have to think that Carter Vickers has to be in that squad next season as well. I mean, 6 million purchases, it's going to be a hell of a headache for the Celtic board to actually cough up 12 million in 2 players. But they've done it with Yeti and Barkas, so they can do it again for 2 players that have proven in such a short time that they are imperative to this Celtic squad.
I'll tell you what's not a headache for the Celtic board: giving Ange Postecoglou a new long-term contract.
I don't know.
The sooner the better.
I know. I mean, does it attract interest from elsewhere though? Because we'll always do rolling contracts. I'm always used to it now.
Well, if he smashes it and he keeps smashing it and somebody comes to get him, then you get a compensation package. So
but
long-term contract.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised that. I know it's obviously they didn't know how it was going to go, but I thought that would have been something to maybe sell season tickets, because everyone's buying into Ange Ball. So
well, it's a credit that the job the manager's done. That's not even needed to sell season tickets. Everybody can see the team they're watching on the pitch is worth investing in. It's worth going to see.
I know.
And what a contrast for last season. Anything that we've missed, anything to round us up.
I don't know. I mean,
the atmosphere down there, by the way.
I know.
Tremendous.
We could be here all day, because
we'll all be here doing the stair all day.
I first came on the show with you to do the Celtic Rangers game when we lost 1-0 to a Philip Hollander header. The atmosphere that day was subdued. It wasn't the same. Today, it's just turned full circle. We are, not saying we're back on top, we've got the better of Rangers again, twice again in succession. And it's fantastic to see. I don't care what anybody says. This is much more than the game. This is much more than the club. I think with, from where we've came from, it's absolutely fantastic. And a win at Ibrox, it just hits differently to me. I don't know about yourself. It must hit.
Oh, mate. Very differently.
I mean, I've nearly lost my voice.
And I'll tell you something else. 700 or 7,000, the result at the end is the same. It's the Celtic fans that are still there celebrating. It's the stands with the Rangers fans that are empty seats, because they've all up the road, tail between their legs. There was even people crying on the telly. That is what you love to see. There you go.
That is what we live for.
That is it for the post-match pint. Celtic are 6 points clear at the top of the table. 2-1 at Ibrox today. What a performance. To a man, we were absolutely brilliant. Like this video. Comment your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back with player ratings very shortly, so stay tuned for that. Mono Hoops.